So at Gary's behest, I am putting this video together to post. It's been a little over a month since we made our purchase and added to our family of equipment. Yeah. This is our new tractor. Sitting in my nice warm toasty truck while the wind is whipping around. I can see the neighbor's flag down there whipping around. I'm at the farm awaiting a very special delivery. So we didn't set out to buy a Kubota. We didn't set out to buy a new tractor, but the used tractors that we found in retrospect were really too large. They were more in the 70 to 75 horsepower range. On the Kubota front, I was looking at, per some suggestions from a couple of folks, looking for the year-end deals on financing, etc., so forth. And that wasn't necessarily a consideration, but when you throw out 0% financing for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years, that starts to get a little bit interesting, because now you don't tie up all of your money up front. You don't even have to put down a down payment, 0%, and then you make payments over the course of the duration, which allows you to free up some money to do other things along the way. So we caught this guy coming in off of a lease from either Peach or Pecans in middle to South Georgia. That's what they said. It had 110 hours when we got it, and other than a couple of scrapes around the grill, this is really the only indication I have found that it was used. This is the Kubota MX5400 with a Kubota LA 1065 loader on the front. To give you an idea of the difference in size or scale of the old tractor, which is Izzy, versus the new tractor, this is 15 horsepower. And that is 54 horsepower. Somewhere between 53 and 57. But it's a 5400, so I'm going to go with 54 horsepower. You can see that the rear tire of the blue tractor is almost the size of the front tire for the new tractor. Some of the other color tractor manufacturers have some policies that I don't necessarily agree with concerning the right to repair, etc., so forth. There's some politics, and there are concerns for supply chain. Supply chain is always an issue. One of the things pointed out by a couple of folks is not only supply chain for parts, but also for service. So there is obviously the place we bought the Kubota from services them. They're building a new facility, which is easier to get to than the old one. And as for other manufacturers, they may have a place that's closer. Price is a lot higher. Resale on the Kubota looks to be really consistent versus others that might lose 50% over a couple of years fairly quickly. With the addition of the front loader, which was not originally on the tractor, we got a grapple. We've got buckets for the skid steer, which this is interchangeable, and has skid steer connections. So we can use the implements that we have for the skid steer on the tractor, and we can use the implements from the tractor on the skid steer. But we went with a grapple to assist in picking stuff up versus just scooping stuff up. We also added significant tillage hardware with a fairly large disc harrow. It's adjustable. These are 18-inch discs. These are notched. The Land Pride is Kubota brand, and it works the dirt, as you can see by my wife plowing up the potato patch. It does have a hydrostatic transmission. Means that you push the big pedal to go forward, the little pedal to go backwards. The grapple is operated by joystick. It goes down, this goes up. I believe that curls and that dumps. I can never remember, so I have to do both. And then the push button is for the grapple to open and to close. And this has a very important feature that the little tractor did not. It has a cup holder. Oh. And rollover protection. Safety third. On the little tractor, it's conventional transmission. So it has a clutch and you change gears 1, 2, 3. And then you've got gear ranges high, medium, and low. One of the major factors with getting a new tractor is my wife could not drive the little tractor. And it wasn't that it was too complicated or anything along that nature. She could not push the clutch in as far as it needed to go to engage the clutch to change gears. Move the seat forward. Nope. You can't adjust the seat forward any further. Well, what are your other options? There were no other options. She would push and twist so far with her foot to push the clutch in that her abdomen would be up against the steering wheel. And that's not safe. Also doesn't have a seat belt, but bigger thing is that she couldn't operate the little tractor. I still can. It's a great tractor. We're going to keep the tractor. It runs the flail mower great. It's got a rake. We've got a couple of other things that we can operate on it, but this has got more horsepower to do some bigger things and a little bit more height to do stuff like run an auger. Brought the auger from my folks, hooked it up to the little tractor. It wasn't tall enough. Who would have thought? The big orange tractor is something my wife can easily drive. She's getting accustomed to it fairly quickly. It's different than the skid steer, which she absolutely loves driving. But she's growing fond of Bo, as we call him, versus Holly, the skid steer, and Izzy, the little blue tractor. So what's one of the first things that you did with a new tractor? Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, use the harrow to plow. Okay, so actually we plowed with a plow, and then we did a harrow over it to break it up, and then we used the auger. Why are you going to use the auger? Use the auger to dig holes. What you need holes for? To plant trees. Aren't you cutting down all the pine trees? Yes, because you can't eat a pine tree. Okay, you can't eat Christmas trees either. But that's something we said we were going to do, so we're going to use the auger to dig the holes to plant pine trees. Other trees to be planted, hopefully fruit and nut varieties, yet to be determined. I have a feeling there will be plums, maybe pears, apples. They say we can do several variety of apples in this zone. We'll do figs, because I love figs. It's not a tree. Well, it is a tree depending on how you let it grow. But with the auger, we can get down into through the topsoil, the loamy topsoil, down into the clay substrate and open up the clay, which holds on to moisture quite a bit, so that the roots can go down into the clay to access that moisture. And there's a lot of nutrients down there too for the trees. I mean, pine trees, they gotta love that red clay. But it's not just red. We got white, we got yellow, we got dark red, gray. Did I say white already? We got red with white speckles. So here's the red with the white speckles. This was dug up. It almost looked like brick. It's very crumbly, but this was dug up when they were putting in the power. And then here is the white slash grayish, mostly white clay, which when you do cursory Google searches, this would be kaolin. which is used for all sorts of stuff. Pigment and paints and some other stuff. And that's just a couple colors. My wife plowing her first field. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.
Too many hobbies, not enough time.
It's a theme song, y'all.